This conference will now be recorded.
Shall we start? Hello?
Jyoti, Atri here.
Yeah, I'm able to hear you now.
Should we wait for a few more participants or should we start now? Yeah, Jyoti.
Atre, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Shall we wait for the participants or shall we start the class?
We can give another 2 to 3 minutes, Shrikant, and then we can start. I think few of them are still
Hello,
joining in.
Atre.
Okay,
Yeah.
let them join. We'll start in a while. Sure.
Shrikant, I think you can go ahead and start. Let people join in. It's already 8:10, so
Okay, sure. Huh. So let's have okay. I'm just starting the class. Huh. So let's start with this concept like architecture of lightning. Okay, architecture of lightning. So okay, so Salesforce was started in the year 1999, and from 1999 to 2008, there used to be a front-end technology called S-Control. Okay, so we used to develop the front-end screens in Salesforce using a technology called S-Control. In the year 2008, okay, so we used to Salesforce has launched a new technology called Visual Force. Okay, till date, yeah, we are using it, and people call it as classic version. Okay, in the year 2014, Salesforce has launched a new technology called Lightning. Okay, so yeah, it is still in use, and but there is more advanced concept. Officially, Salesforce has released on February 13th. Okay, in the 45th version of Salesforce, in the spring 2019, Feb 13, 2019, Salesforce has launched a new framework, a new programming model for Lightning. Okay, so called Lightning Web Components. Okay, so called Lightning Web Components. So it was started in the year 2019, and it is officially said that we when if it is a new Lightning project, then Salesforce has already suggested us that go through, I mean, develop Lightning components using this new framework. If you are still using the old framework, that's okay. For some time, they allow us, and they are suggesting us to migrate the existing Aura-based Lightning framework. Soon we have to migrate it to this new programming model. Fine. So yeah, this is a little bit of prerequisite. Then, huh. So an application can be divided into three parts. Okay, I'll try to make the things as simple as possible so that everyone can understand it. Huh. An application can be divided into three parts. Okay, front end screens. Okay, front end screens, whatever we see on the web browser, the front end screens. So we have to develop a front end screen. Then we should have a data source. Okay, which will be stored in a remote server. We should have a database. Okay, so a database where all our records, rows, everything will be stored. So whenever I click on a button on the front end screen, there will be a postman. I mean, the purpose of there will be a person. The job of this guy is similar to a postman who, after clicking on a button, this postman run towards the DB, run towards the remote server, and knock the door of the database and try to pull some data from the DB and just bundle it up, run back towards the screen and throw it on the screen. Fine. So there are three people involved in the trivial applications, what we know. Fine. So there are three people involved. This front end screen, technically people call it as view. So this postman, the job done by the postman is just a simple to and fro job, passing the data from the screen and storing it in the database, then pulling the data from the database and spitting it on the screen. Fine. So we call this postman technically as controller. Fine. And DB, we call it as model or model object. Okay. Fine. So MVC, model view controller. So from last 10-15 years, from past 2 decades, we have been got used to this kind of applications, model view controller. Okay, this is the design pattern or architecture that we follow in to build an application. So going further, Lightning components do not follow this architecture. Okay, it's not MVC design pattern. So Lightning components do not follow this architecture. Why? Because there will be a view, then in a remote server there will be a controller, okay, or a postman. So because this postman is sleeping or hosted or saved in the remote server, the server that is located very far away from us, So we call this as server-side controller. Okay, because server-side controllers are like executed. The compiler for server is the compiler for the server-side controllers are available at the server. Okay, so this says these server-side controllers are nothing but we use Apex language in order to write these controllers, in order to write these postmans. Fine. Whenever you have doubts, please stop me. Please don't hesitate. Then DB. Now, as the days have passed on, like for every button click, lot of burden is posed on this single postman, this single server-side controller, this single what is it, Apex class, technically. Okay, so number of hits on server is drastically increased. Okay, for every button click. So there was an idea due to advancement in the technology and all, there was a thought or idea like let us place an assistant postman, let us place some helper who will be, of course, the main guy will be the Apex class, but there was an idea due to advancement in the JavaScript and all, there was an idea, let us place an assistant postman or the helper who is the subordinate of the main server-side controller, which will be run, which will be executed, which will be we can say like which will be run or executed at the browser. Okay, so that I have a guy who will help me at the browser level. Fine. Another controller. So introduction of second controller, okay, was happened in the Lightning components. So the architecture of Lightning components is like view, client-side controller, server-side controller, and model. Okay, it is like VCCM architecture. It doesn't follow MVC. Fine. So the advantages of introducing this second postman. So technically, let's call it as browser side controller or client side controller. This guy will be executed at the browser level. Okay, browser side controller. So the advantages of having this browser side controller is whenever I click on a button.
Shrikant?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shrikant and Jyoti here. So in browser side controller, what are the components? All the Lightning components that come into the browser side controller?
Okay, so yes, all the Lightning components follow this design pattern. In order to build a single Lightning component, I should have a front-end screen. I should have a JavaScript class. I'm calling it as JavaScript class. That is browser side controller. So the components that in order to build a Lightning component, we need 4 things. So the first is simple HTML kind of page. And the second thing is JavaScript class. I'm calling it as JavaScript class. Fine. And the third thing is Apex class. And the fourth thing is database. So these are the 4 things that we need in order to build a Lightning component. Now, whenever I click a button on a Lightning component screen, first of all, from the HTML page, the HTML page try to take the concern of this JavaScript class, which is available at the browser side. Our Chrome browser is executing this. Fine, our Chrome browser is running this code. So whenever I click on a button, this HTML code, let's say I have a form, I'm filling it up, I'm hitting on save button. So once I hit on save button, this HTML page pokes or invoke this JavaScript class. Hi JavaScript class, I have some data, end user has entered it in me and end user has clicked on save button, so please help me. So now this JavaScript class first try to handle the data irrespective of the functionality of button. This JavaScript class try to help the HTML guy, fine, by itself independently. Okay, so if this client side controller cannot quench the requirement of the page, then only it will knock the door of server side controller. Okay, then only it will take the help of server side controller. Then server side controller will hit the DB, gives whatever the data that it has, and then server-side controller hits the DB. Database will provide the data to the Apex class. Apex class provide the data to the JavaScript class. JavaScript class provide the data to the HTML page. Fine. So yeah, first instead of calling it as HTML.
Hi, Shrikant.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah.
Hi, Shrikant. Can you give a very small example where when HTML guy hit the client side controller, he should be able to take care of everything without hitting the server side controller, and a
Sure.
small example where he will hit the server side controller.
Sure. I'll
right before we go, is this session being recorded?
I think yes, it will be recorded, and our management team will share to everyone, I guess, after the lecture.
I think the recording is not on. Can you please check?
Recording is on, Jyoti. The status is showing as the session is being recorded.
All right, okay.
Okay. So as so let's say just ask any of your Salesforce friends, okay, who are working as Salesforce developer, the difference between Classic and Lightning. They say Lightning pages performance is good, but if you ask them why, they will hesitate for 3 to 5 seconds. No one can say straightforward reason, okay, because the actual reason is, for example, see this Lightning component, okay, hello world, okay. So what I'm trying to say is, so whatever I type it here, that is shown here, okay. So example number 1, the instances, the examples where there is no need of hitting an Apex class, like these kind of pages, okay. So frankly, for the first time when I load this page, why Lightning pages are fast? I'll give you the exact reason, straightforward reason. Okay, why Lightning pages are fast? Whenever I load this page for the first time, all the code is brought from the server to the browser. Okay, now this code, whatever the code contains this teddy bear, LWC recipes, the background blue theme, then this shake hand logo, everything is brought to the browser, and it is stored in a local folder. I'll show you that local folder as well. Go to C, then users, then my PC, then slash app data, then yeah. So this is the path: app data, local, Google, Chrome, then default, then cache. So there is something called cache memory. Okay, so here all these are the files. Of course, they are encrypted. There is a 1 MB standalone application. Download that application, extract the data. You will get all these logos. Okay, all the data, everything you can just observe it here. As of now, yeah, these are the files that are encrypted. So our data is stored here. For the first time, when a page is loaded, our data is stored here. Now coming back to the question, why Lightning pages are fast? So whenever I type something, for example, in this functionality, I'm just typing here in the HTML page. So this HTML page hits the JavaScript class. Now, the functionality is, what the job of a JavaScript class is, whatever I'm typing here, it has to show it here. I mean, as of this example, it just shows here. For example, in this functionality, so let's say whatever I'm typing there, so it is converting into cap locks and displaying here. So there is no point of hitting or taking the help of Apex class to do this conversion. A JavaScript can do this kind of simple features. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, frankly, disconnect the internet. If I disconnect my internet right now, still these two components will work. That's the reason Lightning pages are fast. That's the reason the performance of Lightning is very high. Why? Because instead of running towards a remote server, knocking the door of Apex class, taking the help of that guy, pulling back the data, then throwing it on the screen, this takes a lot of cycle. Fine. So whenever I disconnect the internet, our page tries to take the help of this cache memory, whatever the code that I have, that was first time that was loaded here. So it tries to take the help of this cache memory and tries to run this functionality. So most of the time, for every event that is fired on a Lightning page, first of all, the JavaScript code tries to take the help of this cache memory. The cache memory is utilized to the utmost level. Okay, if the cache memory or JavaScript class cannot quench the request done on the page, then only I'll go to I'm going to hit the Apex class. Clear? So this is a simple example which is independent of Apex. Even if I disconnect the internet, this page will work. I mean, these two components will work. Fine. So whatever I type here, so you can see this. So these kind of small functionalities, yes, JavaScript will work. And instead of hitting the server, it takes the data from the local folder, because pulling out the code from the local folder is always faster than pulling out the code from the remote server. Fine. So all these logos, these icons, everything, it is pulling out from the local folder. That is cache memory. Fine. So this is example number 1, purely depending on JavaScript. Okay, I don't say, I am not claiming that everything can be done by JavaScript. So my motive is, I expect you people to understand that this guy is just at the end of the day, this guy is just a helper. So instead of directly causing trouble to the Apex class, this guy will act as a primary filter. Okay, you ask me first, if I can help you, I'll give you, I'll not bother my Apex class. If I cannot help you, then I will hit my boss. My boss will give me the data and I'll share you. Okay, this kind of thing will happen. Now let's see the second example. Okay, so yeah, let's see the second example where our JavaScript code hits the Apex class. Fine. So yeah, here if I type something, this is a HTML form, simple HTML form. Whenever I'm typing a keyword, this phrase, whatever ABC, that particular key, that particular string is passed by the HTML page to the JavaScript page. Now the JavaScript page has a thing like this keyword. Now JavaScript page don't have the data. Okay, the JavaScript page don't have the data. It has to now in this component, it has to knock the door of Apex. Hi Apex, the front end page may I got a letter called A, so please provide me all the contacts that contains the letter A. Now like Apex class provides all the components, I mean all the records that have the keywords A, then it returns to the JavaScript class provides it to the HTML page again. Fine. So this is a simple example which does that. Fine. So these are the two examples. And frankly, even if I disconnect this page, okay, surprisingly, even if I disconnect this page, still this component will work. Why? Because of client-side caching. So what I'm trying to say is, whenever the page was loaded for the first time, all the 20 contacts will be loaded up, will be pulled into the cache memory. So whenever I type something here, from the cache memory, the data will be taken. Now you will get it out. Okay, Srikanth, I have disconnected the internet. I'm playing with the data. I have a fixed data of 20 records in my local folder. So whenever I'm typing something, it is pulling the data from the local folder. Let's assume that. What happens? Let's say 5 more records were added in the server. My data in the local folder is stale. So now the question is, like most of the time, I'm depending on the local folder to pull the data or functionality onto the screen. So the question is, what if my data is stale? What if there is already a fresh set of data in the server in the span of these 30 seconds? Let's say. Now, the concept goes like this. Like, whenever an event is fired on the page, our Lightning component will make a HTTP request to the server. Okay. And it will ask the server, like, hi server, I have, there will header may, I mean, I don't know whether to teach these REST API concepts, but I'll try to make the things a bit simple so that everyone here can understand. So in the HTTP callout, in header attribute, you will be having something called entity tag. These are advanced concepts, but no need of knowing as of today, but for your confidence I'm just telling you. So there is a header attribute called e tag, entity tag. Okay, so whenever an event is fired, I will throw my entity tag towards the server and I'll ask server, hi server, this is the entity tag that I have, just show me your entity tag. Now server will show its entity tag, server will send its entity tag as a response. If both e tags match, then our browser side class will have a clarity that, okay, whatever the data that I have in my local folder is fresh. Okay, if so if both e tags match, then browser have a clarity that whatever the data that I have is fresh. Then browser pulls the data from the local folder and throw it on the screen. If both e tags doesn't match, then browser browser in sense client side controller will try to knock the door of Apex class. Hi Apex class, the data that I have is stale, is rotten. So please give me a fresh set of 20 records so that I will store again in my local folder. Okay, so this thing will happen. Okay, of course these are advanced concept, but no needed. Yeah, so this is how it goes. This is what exactly happens behind the curtains. Fine. So these are the, this is about the architecture of Lightning. HTML page, I better call it as Lightning page. Okay, of course at the end of the day everything is HTML. At the end of the day everything is HTML. Yeah, so Lightning page or HTML page. So wherever you have doubts, please stop me. I'll please don't hesitate. Okay. So even if I don't know, I'll try to let you know. Okay. So please don't hesitate. This is just it has to be a two-way interaction. Fine. And so we are done with the discussion about architecture of Lightning. So the question is where to start, how to start. Okay, so where to start, how to start. So the first step is, let us create the fresh developer org. Okay, 2019 spring 2019 developer edition. Let us create a new org, spring 2019. Then we will write our first hello world or whatever it is. We will write our first program. Okay. Developer.salesforce.com. Hit on sign up. So you can see LWC trial mix. Okay. Yeah, the latest version of Lightning. So Aura based Lightning components and Lightning web components. Yeah, so just fill up this basic formality. Username, provide something, Srikanth 1350. So if I forget this username, please remind me in the next class. Our batch org name is 1350. Okay, because I have more than 30 to 50 orgs for each and every batch. So please remind me maybe in the next class if I forget. So 1350. Hit on sign up. Done. So complete the formalities like yeah. Click here on verify account. Like setting up the environment for Lightning web component is very important. And market may the sound of Salesforce DX, Salesforce developer experience, is also increasing day by day. So yeah, we have to learn Salesforce developer experience as well in order to develop these Lightning components from the new breed of programming model. Okay, from the new programming model. So what I'm trying to say is, we are going to create a Salesforce SFDX, okay, Salesforce Developer Experience projects in our local desktop, then we are going to deploy it into Scratch orgs. Okay, just complete these formalities. Cloud at 123. Cloud at 123. Okay, that's fine. So we have a fresh org. Now I expect everyone, okay, because it is inevitable. We cannot avoid it. So everyone to set up your laptops for developing, for starting, in order to start developing LWC, Lightning Web Components. So I expect everyone to set up your laptops. Maybe not now, or maybe later, but I'll give you the procedure. So you can just let's say we can just go through the article in my blog. Okay, so the setup, so system setup, you can just go through the article in my blog, like how to set up your system for Lightning Web Components. Fine. So install GitHub from this link, install Salesforce CLI, install Visual Studio. Okay, so yeah, so you need to do it, and definitely it takes 1 hour, okay, to configure all these things. Downloading them, installing them, it definitely takes 1 hour, because installing CLI and SFDX. So let's not do it in the class. You can follow this article and do it. If you have any doubts, you can ask.
Can you please ping
Can you
this
just pass the
link
link?
in the chat?
Okay, this link.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
you can pass it over the chat.
Okay. So yeah, of course it is a simple installation. It's not a rocket science, but as you know, installation will take time. Now, Salesforce CLI installation will take 20 minutes approximately. So waiting for that loading thing unnecessary in the class doesn't take us anywhere. So that's the reason. Do it later, and yeah. Now, after installing all those things, go to after installing all those things, having a Spring 2019, the latest developer edition. So have a fresh folder here for all your Lightning projects. What shall we name? Let's say SFDC. So have a fresh folder. Rename. So copy this. So go to your command prompt. Very, very important. The culture of developing applications in Salesforce has drastically changed in the past 1 year. Okay, particularly in the past 3 months. Okay, the culture of developing, because I have been developing. I'm in Salesforce from past 8 years. Okay, so the way we. Hello, is my voice audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, Srikant, you are audible.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is the culture of developing Salesforce, development in Salesforce has changed drastically in the past 1 year, particularly in the last 3 months. So because of course I'm into Salesforce from past 8 years, but the way I started my career, the way I started development is completely different from today. So what I'm trying to say is we have to inculcate the habit of using this command prompt. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, for the development of Lightning Web Components, command prompt will be our best friend. Okay, from now. So you will get to know why it is our best friend. Yeah, command prompt will be our best friend. So so cd change directory space. So give your directory. Done. So this is my directory. This is a fresh empty folder. This is a fresh empty folder. Then create an SFDC project. Sorry, SFDX. Create an SFDS project. Very, very important for the next 5 minutes. थोड़ा ध्यान देना. So how to create an SFDX project? Yeah, this keyword, this command. So make sure that SFDX space plugin, is it plugin or plugins? Plugins, correct. So plugins space core. So this command SFDX, after installing Salesforce CLI, SFDX space plugin space core, hit on enter. So it should give you 45th version. Okay, so it will give you the version details that are installed in your desktop. Yeah, it should give you 45th version, because Lightning Web Components are supported only in the 45th version. I mean, something beyond 45, something later than 45. Now, yeah, just place like this and let it be like the same hello world component SFDX. Like this is the command you have to use. The name of the project. Okay, it has to be in this way. Fine. So all in lower cases, and every independent keyword will be separated with a hyphen. Fine. It's a standard best practice. It's a best practice to name SFDX project in this way. Okay. So hit on enter. I'll share this list of commands. Okay, by the end of the class. No worries. Hit on enter. It will take some 20 seconds for creation of project. Okay, in the meanwhile, let's talk something about Scratch.org. Okay, so after creation of this SFDX project, we have to link this project to the production org. Very, very important. We have to link this project to the production org. Production org in sense any whether it could be a developer org, enterprise edition, whichever it is. So one org, that guy will be the base for this local project. I mean local directory that we are going to have. Fine. Then we will be having few Scratch orgs. Okay. Do you have idea about Scratch org, or shall we discuss briefly? I don't know. Like, so shall we discuss? Okay, we'll discuss briefly. So the new culture of developing Lightning components in Salesforce goes this way. Create a project in the local folder. Step number 1. All your code, everything will be there in this project. Then link it to some kind of production org. Some kind of production org. How to link it, we will see now. Then instead of developing in sandboxes, we are going to develop in Scratch orgs. So Scratch org is, as the name itself represents, it is like a Scratch paper in the sense you can use the Scratch org for development. Then you might raise a question, why can't I use the sandbox for the development, Srikanth? Okay, so the answer to that question is, for a default enterprise edition, you will be having only 40 sandboxes. Okay, so if I have a team of 15 people, 15 developers, I have given 15 tasks to the 15 developers for my Salesforce production project, live project. Now I have to offer them, previously, before 2017, I have to offer them 15 sandboxes separately. Okay. Then they will be developing in a different environment. Then there will be a new sandbox for testing, SIT, UAT, regression testing, then pre-production, then production. Fine. Unnecessary, like what if all the sandboxes are blocked? Okay. And in order to start a new functionality, a sandbox has to be refreshed, because I want sandbox to be in sync with production. It will take 1 day for the developer sandbox to refresh. Unnecessary 1 day is wasted. Correct. If I want to refresh the sandbox and start a fresh task, So previously a developer has done something in the sandbox and deployed it. It has some junk code, everything. So with a fresh find, I want to refresh the sandbox. It will be in sequence production. Then I'll start developing a new task as a developer. So unnecessarily I have to waste one day will be wasted for sandbox refresh. So that's the reason the culture of this scratch orgs came onto the screen. Fine. So that's the reason the culture. No, scratch orgs are easily disposable test environments, in the sense you can create them, and the default lifetime of scratch org is 7 days. Default lifetime is 7 days. After 7 days, these scratch orgs will be auto deleted. On the 8th day or 9th day, you cannot log into the scratch orgs. So the procedure goes like this. The maximum lifetime of scratch org is 30 days. So the procedure goes like this. If a task is given to you by your project manager in your org, create a scratch org, then try to pull out the source code into your local folder. For example, there is an enhancement task that is given to you by the project manager. So let's say this is a source code. We are maintaining our source code in GitHub. So whatever the 10% module, whatever the 10% part at which you are doing the enhancement, try to pull out the whole source code into your local folder. That's the reason I said, like in the article, GitHub is necessary. Step number 1. Of course, nowadays people are inclined, most of the orgs are inclined on GitHub as a source code version control thing. Fine. Then, let's go to the story. So the procedure goes like this. Pull out the project into your local folder. I have pulled out the project into my desktop, like various documents. Yeah, recipes. Yeah, this is my whole source code. Then create a scratch org. Push this source code into your scratch org. How to push and all, we will do it now. Yeah, a project is created, by the way. It's still not. Yeah, it is created, by the way. Okay. So the procedure is pull out the source code, throw it in your local folder, then create a scratch org, then create an SFDC project, then link it to production. We call it as dev hub. Production is called as dev hub. Then create a scratch org and again link this scratch org to the project. Link the production org to the project, link the scratch org to the project, then push the project into the scratch org. Okay. Then make the changes in the Visual Studio. You have an IDE called Visual Studio. Okay. Previously, people used to use Eclipse and all, but nowadays Salesforce is more inclined to use Visual Studio. Right. Salesforce is more inclined to use Visual Studio nowadays. So install Visual Studio, then have a Salesforce project, link it to production, then link it to sandbox. Link it to scratch org. Then push your code to scratch org, start development, start enhancement, and make sure that on the 29th day you take the backup of whole your code in your local folder again. Because after 30 days your scratch org will expire. Now you will have a question like, Srikanth, what if 29th day is a Sunday, or what if I forgot to I forgot to take the backup of the project from the scratch org to my local folder. So what if I forget on 29th day? Okay, in general, yeah, you have to take the backup of your project into your local folder on 29th day. After 30th day, still if you cannot complete the task in 30 days, create a fresh scratch org. Creating a scratch org, deleting will just take 30 seconds. 30 seconds for creation, 30 seconds for deletion. Fine. So create a scratch org again push your code. Pushing also doesn't take more than 1 minute. Fine. And again on the 31st day, start freshly with a new scratch org. Push your existing source code, then start. This is how the plan goes. This is the story or life cycle of development. The things have changed from the past 1 year. Okay, this is the latest way. Now coming back to the doubt, what if on the 31st day? So on the 31st day, still you can log in. Okay, or after 5 days, 10 days, still you can log in. But after you log in, after you spend some time, let's say 2 hours or something, if you repetitively log in, I mean, Salesforce will take some time to sense that you are logging in into the deleted org. Still, you can log in if even if the org status seems to be deleted. So after 1 or 2 hours, slowly Salesforce will completely remove it. So there is another last chance, even on the 31st day, 32nd day, still you can log in. But after some time, there is no specific time, but yes, after some time, maybe like 2 hours, 1 hour, that uh, scratch org will be deleted. So after 2 hours, once you relog in again, on the 31st day, 10 o'clock, I logged in, I used it for 1 hour, then maybe by 2 o'clock, if I try to relog in, the org will be deleted. Okay, it happened to me. Fine. So, yeah. So this is the story. Now let's go ahead with the command prompt thing. A fresh project is created. In the sense, go to document, go to C folder. Where was our Salesforce training? Here. LWC Hello World. Yeah, this is the project. Previously it was empty. Now we have a project. Fine. Change directory. Point it to the project. So tab. So after CD, if you hit on tab button, like all the folders will be shown. Now we are inside the project. We are pointing to the home page of the project. Fine. So how to create a Lightning Web component? So this is the keyword. This is a command. So Salesforce DX project, Lightning component. We are creating it. The type is LWC. You can have another type called Aura, AURA, Aura. So there are two types. So 5 days ago, yeah, like LWC. So what I'm trying to say is Lightning Web Components were launched on December 13th, but official release was done into the spring 2019 version on 13th of February. Fine. So we are discussing that's something that is launched on 13th. Fine. So yeah, hello world component. Then yeah. So where should I create the component? Is this directory? Force app main default LWC. So you have force app main default. You have two types Aura and LWC. Then LWC. So this is empty folder as of now. But hit on enter. Hit on enter. Yeah. And the name of the this is a naming convention. We have to obey this. We have to follow this. It has to be a camel case. Camel case. Fine. Hello world. Okay. So for every like keyword apart from the first word, you have to make sure that this W is in cap locks. Fine. Done. So it was created. Go to hello world thing. You can see three files were created. So the first file is HTML file. You can see type ka HTML document. Second file is a JavaScript file, the JavaScript class that I said, and the third file is supporting document. XML in the sense, in which page should I show this Lightning component? Okay, shall I show it in the app page? Shall I show it as a community page? So where it is shown? I mean, so the other details supporting XML document. Okay. More elaborately we'll discuss later, but yeah. So what's next? Project is created. That's great. So the next thing is link it to the production org first. How to link it? So these are the commands. Yeah. Copy this and paste it here. SFDX like force, then authorize, then web login. So I just want to, from the web browser, I'm logging in. From the web browser, I'm logging in. And the URL is login.salesforce.com because it is a production org. Hit on enter. Yeah, it will take some 20 seconds time. So we will be redirected to login page. So give your production or details. I mean, just log in here. Uh, So what is that? Shrikant 1350 at sfdc.com and cloud cloud at 123. Login. Yeah, give access to the CLI for the production org. Allow. CLI in the sense command line interface. Okay, from the command line we are going to handle everything from the command prompt. Okay, then go to dev hub, make sure that it is enabled, because if it is not enabled you cannot create your scratch orgs. Fine, make sure that it is enabled. So whatever it is there, just enable it. Fine, so make sure that it is enabled. Then what else? I think, yeah, that's it. Create a scratch org.
So, Shrikant, I have a question. So, apart from command prompt, can we create these scratch orgs from any other tool? Like what I'm intending to say is in Eclipse, like in Classic, for Eclipse, we can create the projects there, right?
Okay, so I understood. Apart from command prompt, do we have any other easy tool? Yes, from Visual Studio, yes, you can create a scratch org. Yeah. Now the problem is there are a lot of problems. I can just help. And one more thing, Eclipse Boleto, I have got something to say. So in the latest release, in the Jan 2019, the spring release of 45th version of Salesforce, there was a headline by Salesforce like, no longer we are going to support development from Eclipse. Okay, ECLIPSE something. Yeah. So no longer Salesforce is going to support the development from Eclipse starting from October 2019. So there used to be a plugin called force.com plugin in Eclipse. So once we install that force.com plugin, we used to develop the Apex, Visual Force, everything from Eclipse previously in the old days. But in the last few weeks, there was a headline made by Salesforce like from October 2019, we are stopping support for this force.com plugin. Okay, so like if there are any issues further with the enhancement of Salesforce will not help us. So completely Eclipse is out of market now. So we have to inculcate the habit of using this Visual Studio. I mean, of course, we don't have choice because Salesforce itself is depending on Visual Studio. Right.
So from here we can do check-ins also.
Yeah, everything we can do from here as well. But as a pure core backend developer, of course, a beginner's career this will be easy. But from day one itself, I want you people to have a habit of developing from command prompt, because these commands will never change. Even after 10 years, these commands will be same. But like, because at the end of the day, this is a private third-party company or ID by Microsoft. So these features and all will change, and there will be a next ID coming after 1 year. Belkin Suite, Sublime Text Editor, Maven's Mate, Cloud9, IntelliJ. So the other IDs are there. Even they are upgrading their IDs to support LWC. Still, except Visual Studio, no other IDs are available in the market to support LWC, Lightning Web Components. So what I'm trying to say, instead of remembering these buttons, keyword setting, for each ID, if you can follow this command prompt, it is universal. Fine. Even if you don't have IDE installed in your laptop, you can play with command prompt. So yeah, of course, yes, you can do. The answer is final answer is yes. There are a few easier ways, but yeah, this is the core principal way of doing it. Fine. So let's proceed further. So at most you can create 40 scratch orgs for, it's a default value, 40 scratch orgs for enterprise edition at most. So if you want to increase it, yes, give a call to Salesforce, raise a ticket, they will help us. Screen stuck ho gaya? Yeah, my screen got stuck, just a moment. So you can see here successfully authorized the dev hub, and the org ID is this. You may close the browser now. In a sense, you can just close this production environment. Close kiya? Of course, close or not, it's our wish, but suddenly my screen, my laptop was a bit slow. Just a moment. I'm closing the other. ये पुराना batch का, the other batches things. Let me close them so that RAM will be freed. Uh, Phone. System got stuck. Just a moment. Done. Okay. So let's go here and start. So we have linked to the dev hub. Let's not drag it here. So let's quickly, after linking it, you have to make sure that it is the default org all the time. You can link n number of productions to the project, but you have to make sure that it is a default thing. So command to set for this project, make sure that you set it as a default. So default dev hub user SRIKNTH 1350 at sfdc.com. Enter. After doing this, let's so this command, just try to observe this command, line number 9. So username you can provide for this. So next step is, let us create a scratch org. So you can provide whatever the username you want, then make sure that all these things are available in your local folder. Okay, then set default username. I'm just setting it up at the time of creation itself. Like duration is 30 days. I'm picking up the maximum duration, the duration of the scratch org. So this command will help you to create scratch org for 30 days. Is it done? And the problem is, maybe in the next release after 3 months, maybe in the May and all, the things will be better. Like as of now, you cannot like develop Lightning web components from developer console. Okay, so so in the next release, in the May release, Salesforce will they are working on it to give us the feature of developing Lightning components from the developer console. Fine. This, let us open दूसरा command prompt. Yeah, so let's point it to this folder. Yeah, setting up the system will take time. As I said, it will take 1 hour for sure. Yeah, copy this home page of the project, go to that folder, then create a scratch org using this command. hit on enter. Oh, we want the scratch org name to be scratch org name to be 1350 SFDC 1350. Second underscore 1350. Yeah. So this is the username for the scratch org. Hit on enter. Okay, so the next thing that we will be doing is to generate the password for the scratch org. If you don't generate password, your scratch org is gone. So what I'm trying to say is, if you don't generate the password for the scratch org, for example, I have created a project in this laptop. If you don't generate the password from the another laptop, you cannot access your scratch org without password. Fine. So only whichever the laptop in which you have created a scratch org, only that laptop can access the scratch org. Fine. दूसरी laptops से cannot access scratch org if you don't create the password. Okay. So, and by the way, the story goes like this: go to C program, C folder, then users, then this PC, then you have .sfdx. So here all the orgs, the login credentials, everything will be available in this folder. Fine. So I have authorized my 1350, right? It is available here. I have authorized my this one scratch org, thing, right? It is available here. So everything will be available here. So in your C users, this PC .sfdx, we call it as this is global. For this laptop, it is available here. Project level, there is another folder. Wherever you have, please stop me. This is the most advanced concept we will be discussing for the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, so we will sail very comfortably. Okay, we can play with Lightning web components like anything. So it will be in market for sure. So this is at the global level. In your C folders, in the users thing, you will have your login credentials here. Okay, then if you go to the project, this is global level, we call it as global level. If you go to project level, like a dummy folder here, you can see .sfdx. Still it is not yet there. It will come now, right? Just a moment. Iska kya hua? Yeah, scratch org was successfully created with this name. That's great. So close it out. Yes, rerun the command again. So Control C is used to stop if the command is taking too much time because of your laptop RAM or anything. Control C is used to stop the command. Okay, so let's generate the password for this scratch org. The thing is, even without password, even without generating password, there is a command sfdx space. I'll show you the easier way while starting Visual Studio. No worries about that. Control Shift P. Okay, here you can see create SFDC project, create a scratch org, login, push, retrieve, everything is there available here. Fine, but you cannot create password from Visual Studio. Okay, few commands are there that Visual Studio doesn't support. Okay, and moreover, I want you people to inculcate the habit of using command prompt, because yeah, as I said, the way we develop SFDX force space org colon open, hit on enter. SFDS for force or colon or open. So this will open your scratch org in the browser. Yeah. So this is our scratch org. It will auto open. You don't have password, but if you want to access the same scratch org in another laptop, you can never. If you even if you delete this project now, your scratch org is gone. So that's the reason I'm saying, as a disclaimer, make sure that you have the password for the scratch org. Multiple times I'm recurring it. That's a recurring problem. People do work a lot, build everything in scratch org. At the end of the day, they say, I forgot the password. You're gone. Then so this is the command, and password reset thing is not available in the Visual Studio. Okay, this is fine. So generate password, our username is this. What is that? SRAKNTH underscore. For scratch or we are using underscore. For production without underscore, fine. Hit on enter. So the way we used to develop lightning components in the Aura model, if you ask me, as per my experience, I would say Aura model was bit boring. I mean, I cannot say bit tough, but yeah, bit different. It is very simple, very easy. If you know the core Java at the college level, you can easily develop lightning components using this LWC framework. So what I'm trying to say is, even though system setup is easier for Aura, system setup will take some time for LWC. Actual development of component is very easy in the LWC compared to Aura. Okay. In the next 3-4 months, system setup will also become easy in the next release by Salesforce by the month of May. Okay, so you can see the password was set. Copy this password. How to copy from command prompt? Just select it, hit on enter. It will be copied. Hit on enter. Now, what I expect you people to do is, all the time I cannot remember this scratch or password, right? It has generated a random password. I'm happy, but close all other guys. Okay, now what I'm trying to do is, I'll change the password for the scratch org. Then everything is done to start creating the lightning components. Very simple. Okay, dead easy. So creating lightning components is very easy compared to Aura based model. Close everything. Close. Oh. Now I was about to log in into the org with that password, test.salesforce.com. Because this is scratch org, by default you have to log in into this environment. Test.salesforce.com. Then so SRIKNTH underscore 1350 at sfdc.com, and the password that I got from the command prompt, control V. Is that the same? Control V, yeah. Hit on login. We don't want to remember. Okay, that's great. So we are progressing in the right direction. So scratch.org is also ready. Then what's next? Change the password. Go to users. We are this user. So check this checkbox. Click on reset password. Done. So you will get for the same email ID for the dev hub. That's the reason we have to enroll the dev hub first, then scratch.org. So whatever the email ID that we provided for the dev hub account, so usko aayega password reset link. Okay. Click it. Provide easier passwords you can remember so that you can independently log in. So cloud at 123, CLOUD cloud at 123. Hit on change password. Done. हाँ अब हम आराम से बैठ सकते हैं. Okay. So all the prerequisite, everything is done. One last command before starting the component. One last command is sfdx space force org list. I want to get all the list of orgs that were enrolled for this project, that were authenticated technically, yeah, that were authenticated for this project. Let's type the same sfdx force org list. No, it just gives you the list of accounts, so you'll get some clarity. Okay. So the next step we will be doing is we will open our project in Visual Studio. Then we will try to we will try the first program, that is Hello World. Later on, slowly we will pick up the pace. We will discuss everything, every possible thing that we can develop with Lightning Web Components, including integration. Okay, including integration. So in the meanwhile, I can show you the integration that I have done. It's just a simple example, funny example that I have developed. Dreamhouse 3. Just a moment. आ गया list. This is Dreamhouse 3. Then so go here, setup, then LWC, then go to miscellaneous tab. I have built a custom component called callout. So it will make a callout to, okay, the example is, of course, an integration is an integration, whether we do it with a banking database or a movies DB. Fine. Of course, the endpoint URL to which the REST API call to which we are going to hit is different. Other than that, the procedure, coding, and everything is same, right? So if I click on get movies now playing, just a moment. Click here and inspect. Go to console. Okay, document where it's a content security policy. Just give me 30 seconds for. So I have to enroll. Meanwhile, yeah, gaya. So SFDX force org list. You can see, like you have two orgs. Like production apps, there are two orgs in our laptop. Then these are the two sandbox orgs. I mean scratch orgs that we have. Scratch org name, user, org ID, and expiry date. Fine. Scratch org name, user, org ID, and expiry date. Then apart from that, okay. So where is my blog? Just give me 30 seconds. I'll show you that integration thing. So after clicking on get movies playing now, so whatever the list of movies that were released in this month that are playing now in the theaters will be shown. Okay, so copy this endpoint and paste it in the content security policies. So if we are doing it, so you can see, you are saying Salesforce like, hi Salesforce, I'm pulling data from the third party side and I'm declaring you that isko chhod de, like leave this endpoint. I'm assuring that this endpoint is my friend. This will not cause any problem regarding security issues for our org. So you have to explicitly mention to Salesforce that thing. So CSP, is this my org? So go to setup. Then CSP. No worries as of today. These content security policies, everything we will discuss very elaborately after 10 hours. After 10 hours of class. So new trusted site. Test something, any name. Give the name of the URL. You are trying to hit and get the data. Hit on save. Done. Now go to miscellaneous. Refresh this page. Now hit on this. You can see all the list of. So these are the movies that were playing in theaters now in India. Of course, this is a simple, funny example, but the concept is same. Integration is integration. Fine. Yeah. So let's go ahead with the story that we are following. That's great. We can see our orgs. So the next thing is the next step after observing like this project is connected with Scratch org. This project is successfully connected with production. We are happy that. The next thing is code. Very important. Code space dot will open this project in Visual Studio. Code space dot will open this project in Visual Studio, or else in Visual Studio you can go here manually, open project, select the path. Yes, you can do that as well. Okay. So yeah, voila. So now it is like available. Our LWC Hello World Cup project, then Force app, then LWC, then Hello World.html. Click here. So this is a template. I mean, template is a default keyword. You have to use it. to wrap up your HTML code. Okay, template is a default keyword. You have to use it. Then yeah. So let's have a lightning card here. LIGHT. Just a moment. It will take some 30 seconds to 1 minute so that you'll get some suggestions. Auto suggestions आ जाता है. If you type lightning, you'll get a drop down my card, everything, all other things. Okay. It will take some time for 30 seconds. So that these guys, where is that? Just a moment. Okay. So you can see a new folder was created called .vs code. Previously it was not there. Upgrade ho gaya. So it is configuring our project. For the first time we have opened the project in the Visual Studio. It is configuring. Just a moment. In the meanwhile, we will observe the code, the basic. In the meanwhile, we can observe this meta folder. Where is this meta folder? Meta configuration file. So the Lightning component API version is 45. Make sure that exposed is true. So your component will be deployed. What if expose is fast? Your component will be deployed, but it will not be available for use. You cannot drag and drop it onto the screen. Fine. So make sure that it is true. Is exposed is true. And the other attribute that you have to place here is target. Fine. So where do you want to display this component? So there are multiple targets. I mean, so where there are different screens in Lightning version, in which screen this component is drag and droppable and placeable on the screen. Fine. In the Lightning app page, or in the home page, or in the community page. Okay, we have different screens. So the target is, as of now, this component can be used in the app page and the record page. Okay, so in the app page itself. Fine. So hit on Control S. Done. Now let's go to. So how is it going? So let's use this code. I'll explain. So what all these are. So this is a JavaScript class. So what I'm trying to say is, from the past 20 years, JavaScript was not object oriented. Okay, so from the 1995, there is an association called European Computer Manufacturer Association, ECMA. So they have from the year 1995, they have been standardizing JavaScript. They have been setting some rules like JavaScript has to be this way. Okay, so the problem is because the features offered by the standard called ECMA, you need to know this story, important. Okay, so ECMA script. So there is an association called European Computer Manufacturer Association which standardizes the JavaScript, and we can say like these guys maintain the JavaScript. Fine, from the 1995. So the problem is, as the days have passed on, the requirement by the client, the need of JavaScript has increased, but this association and the JavaScript standard was far below the standard of the common needs in the market. Hence, lot of frameworks were evolved in the last 10 years. For example, in the 2016, we can in the year 2013, whenever I say modern JavaScript, in the year 2003, Ajax components were the modern thing. Okay, in the year 2006, jQuery was the sensation. Okay, in the year 2006, jQuery. So in the similar way, in the year 2013, 2012, Node.js was the sensation, was a new thing in the market. Then, so what I'm trying to say is, because JavaScript is not that standardized, every new framework, every company like Facebook, they have started React.js. Okay, because the standard template is not going to offer them their needs, so they have developed their own framework called React.js. Later on, it was made open source so that everyone can use it. So we have a lot of JavaScript frameworks in the market. So this has caused the problem. And in the year 2016, so the people, again, the ECMA standards have restructured and made this JavaScript as object oriented. Very important. The question is, Srikanth, what is the need for LWC? As I said, in 3 to 5 minutes, it will be there. So what is the need for LWC? Why Salesforce has introduced LWC? Because we have Aura, right? Why? So the need is, everyone are building their own frameworks because the standard template is not going to offer me what I need. So there are hundreds of frameworks like Grand, Babel, of course there are transparents, like Node.js, like jQuery. Of course, it's based on Node.js, is a runtime environment. React.js. So a lot of features, a lot of frameworks are there. So this is distorting the market. So that's the reason in the year 2016, JavaScript, there were drastic changes that were made to the standard technology, and JavaScript was, a new keyword was introduced into the language JavaScript called class, so that people will at least feel like JavaScript is object oriented. Fine. So that, and a lot of other features were added into JavaScript, so that after 2016, Lightning was launched in 2014. After 2016, Salesforce has sensed that, why should I maintain a separate framework called Aura, which contains a component bundle, component, controller, helper, renderer, re-renderer, SVG document, like it is bundling up. So why should I maintain again a separate framework for my company called Salesforce if I can use this ES5? So instead of ES, they call it as ES6 because it is 2016. They call it as ES6. So why can't I use ES6 directly so that the page will be faster? Because I'm using something that is native. I'm not building a platform on the top of JavaScript. So that's the reason the Salesforce has migrated from Aura to LWC. Fine. So the reason I'm rephrasing the reason, JavaScript was redesigned so that it will be easier. JavaScript is an ocean. Okay, it is redesigned by the ECMA so that at least people will feel like it is an object-oriented language. Of course, it's not an object-oriented language. At least on the top layer, at least while writing code, we will feel like it is an object-oriented language, and it will be easier for us. Fine. So observing all these changes, Salesforce has adopted to itself and launched LWC based on this ES6. Fine. हाँ, so ये स्टोरी खत्म होने के बाद yeah, so let's observe these things called, what is this import lightning element? So as we know, in Java we used to use import keyword, right? So import this library from this package. Okay, it means that import this library from this package. Fine. And export, in the sense some other guy can write like this. So what I'm trying to say is, export default class hello world which extends LWC. LWC, as you know, extend keyword. You're already programmers. Like we are just extending the super class. Fine. This is a child class. This is a parent class. I'm extending it so that my guy, that is hello world, will have the power or feature of the status of being a controller. So hello world will get the promotion of being a controller for an LWC by implementing lightning element. Fine. Why export keyword here? So if you use export keyword here, some other class can export hello world. I mean, in some other class, you can write like import hello world from like just import hello world from dot slash. You have to give the path. Fine. So some other class can like import it. Yeah. So no worries. Day by day we will learn. So let's paste this code. Hit on a save. Now what I'm trying here is, this is an instance variable, member variable, instance variable of the class as per Java. Fine. So this is a member variable. Now you have to export API as well. So what I'm trying to say is, if you don't use API, this API keyword, this API annotation, technically we call it as decorators. As per LWC, we call them as decorators. In Spring framework and all, Spring and the other frameworks, we call it as annotations in general. So what I'm trying to say is, this is similar to a Java class. From now, we will be very comfortable, like as simple as writing the controllers, writing the Java classes. Fine, we feel like that. This is a member variable of the Java class. This is an attribute of the Java class. I mean, just assume like that. If you don't mention any keyword, this is a private. This is a private property. Okay, private member variable, instant variable, property, or whatever it is. So in order to make it as a public property, as per LWC, you have to use this keyword @API. You have to use this in order to make it public. Now it becomes public property. Fine. So I have a variable called name. I made it as public. Then done. Control S. Now go to HTML. Very simple. Simple HTML. Even a complex page can be built quite easily. Yeah. So now what we are no need of this styling as well. What does it do as of day one? Let's make it simple. Okay, so we have inside the template, I'm writing something called lightning card. So how about the other tags, Srikanth? So you can just write LIGHT. You can see lightning, accordion, avatar, badge. So all these things, these are the other LWC tags you have. You can just use them if required. Okay, so so currently we are using lightning card. Lightning card bole to you will get this kind of card. Ye wala card. It will have some title, it will have some logo, and you can display some content. This is a lightning card. Fine. I'm displaying hello world name. Fine. Okay, now everything is done. Control S. We are ready to deploy this. Lastly, so the point is, Srikanth, I have an instance variable. I'm displaying that variable in the HTML page. But who is going to fill up this name? Who is going to fill up this name? Okay, so the answer for that question is, because I'm not writing anything like lightning input or something. You got my point? I'm not using lightning input. Okay, so LIGHT lightning input. I'm not using lightning input. Will give you a form, will give you an empty box so that you can input it, you can display it bottom. We are not in. So who will fill up this name? So for that purpose, as of day one, while dragging and dropping it into the page, I'm making it as the necessary component. You have to fill it up while dragging and dropping it into the page. So what I'm trying to say is, for this target, I'm configuring something. The target is this, the property is name. You have to fill the name in order to drag and drop it onto the screen. The label is name. The placeholder is just I'm just giving the placeholder, then this is the description. Fine. So page, while dragging and dropping it onto the page, you have to fill it, or else programmatically you can inject the value to the property. But as of first example, let's do this. Hit on save. Done. So hello world is ready. Its JavaScript code is ready. Its metadata file, configuration file is ready. Now let's deploy it. I'll show you deployment from here. So how to deploy from Visual Studio? Shift Control P. Okay, Control Shift P. So push to default scratch org. Click on this button, or else you can deploy from command prompt as well, like sfdx space. I mean, I personally observed that deploying from command prompt will be less time taking than deploying from Visual Studio. Fine. SFDC force colon source colon push. Fine. SFDS force colon source colon push. Enter. Of course, you can deploy it from here. ये button click किया तो deploy हो जाएगा. Okay, but I observed that it will take some, let's say 2 minutes for deploy. But here from command prompt, we just take around 30 seconds to 1 minute. Let's wait for it. So once it is deployed, let's drag and drop it to any page, किसी भी page को. Where is our org? In the meanwhile, let's open our org. So how to open it? SFDC. Of course, if you have credential, that's fine. SFDC force org open. Hit on enter. Now you can see pushed source. So 3 things were pushed into the org. Fine. Type lightning component bundle. The project path is this. It is pushed. In the other command prompt, I have logged in. I mean, I'm trying to open it. The scratch org, our scratch org. Then okay.
Shrikant, can we not open the Scratch or via username and credential from browser?
Yes, we can open directly because we have credentials now. Yeah, we can open. Just a moment. s.salesforce.com. This is the most advanced lecture that we can ever have in Lightning. Okay, trust me. So just go to attend any interview. Okay, just explain these things. Just say them. Definitely you'll be picked. Okay, Lightning developers are like package is very high. Marketplace there is a very huge demand for people who know all these concepts. Okay, so yeah. Apart from that, test.salesforce.com. Okay, already they're open हो गया ना दूसरी टैब में. Okay. So what's next? I think so. I think yeah. So we are here. Let's go to any app page. Let's go to any app page. एक पेज क्रिएट करेंगे ना. So let's create a so app builder. So go to Lightning App Builder. Whatever the components that we will be building, we need a container to drag and drop it. Correct. So click on a new button. So choose Lightning App Page because our scope is our component is only drag and droppable in Lightning App Page itself. Correct. So click on next. Give some label. So give some label. SFDC something. Test. Component test. COMP test. So hit on finish. Done. Now scroll down a bit. We should be able to see our component here. Yeah, we have it. Drag and drop it here. So once you drag and drop it, in the right side bar, you can see you have to give the property here. You have to give the property, and the default value is like as it displays like world something. So while dragging and dropping it, I have to give the property. Hit on save. Activate it. Activate the page for all the users. So make sure that it is active for all the users. Component test, activate for all the users. Hit on save. You can't access until you add it to the Lightning. So go back to the application. Click on Lightning Experience over mobile app. Okay. So done. Save it. Back. So go to Lightning Bolt. So you can see component test. So these are component. Fine. Simple component. Hello world. Now we will pick up the pace. Slowly we will pick up the pace. So all the introductory things are done. So because I have not given the styling, it was at the end. I mean, some procedure was not there. Fine. So now we will see another component so that you can give some input and that will be shown. Let's build another component. Copy this, go to command prompt. We are already there. Then go to sfdx commands. Create another project. So create another component in the same project and name it as we are trying to learn about input tag. Input tag. Okay, hit on enter. I'm just naming the component that way. Input tag. Okay, so let's observe the source code for that input tag in the meanwhile.
So, Srikanth, do we must use this threshold structure, or we
Please
can
come
use
again.
our sandbox?
समझ में नहीं आया. Please reiterate.
Like you are calling that we have to use this threshold, then for this threshold we have to authenticate first on production node, right?
Okay, if required, you can push it to sandbox as well. No worries. So
Yeah,
what I'm
because
trying to say is,
our current
correct.
sector we are using sandbox for all development and then pushing to
Correct. So directly from scratch, or we cannot, it's not advisable to push it to production, right? So yeah, obviously, staging, UAT, like all those things, yeah, we will be done in sandbox as well. Just authorize your sandbox, then use the same thing, like force.
before we can do this, we need to production org also for credentials. Because
Please
of,
come again.
for the yeah, as for the stretch org, we need to first authenticate with production org, right?
Correct.
But in sandbox case, do we need it?
No, in sandbox, the procedure is you have whole source code in your desktop, correct? You have whole source code in your desktop. So directly authenticate your sandbox and push your whole source code to the sandbox. Okay, independent kind of thing. So in order
So there is
to
more
give birth to
production
the
org.
scratch org, yeah. So what the bottom line is, in order to give birth to the scratch org, I should have production help. I want production help in order to play
Only
with
for the
sandbox.
stretch,
In
right?
order to play with scratch org.
Not for sandbox.
Correct. So
Okay.
in order to play with sandbox, there is no need of taking the concern from production.
Okay.
Authenticate it as an independent org, push your code directly. So
Yeah.
because scratch orgs are direct children of production, fine.
Mhm.
So it
And
is as simple as, to be frank, even the scratch org is a sandbox. Frankly, even the scratch org, how can you say, Srikanth? For example, uh, test.salesforce.com is a URL that we are using for logging into sandbox. Correct.
yeah.
So obviously we are using the same URL for scratchorg and sandbox. So yes, scratchorg is also one kind of sandbox. It is as simple as moving the code from one sandbox to another sandbox, as one scratchorg to another scratchorg, or one scratchorg to another sandbox.
Yeah, because of the
Yes.
concept is there are many people in team working on the same project. So maybe as
Yeah,
for
no worries. You can push it. No worries. Okay. Um, so where we are now? I was trying to explain uh, other. So what's next after Hello World? What's next? So we will discuss very clearly. So the next component. Let's observe the source code for the next component. A lot of things are there. Apart from these things, we have 4 or 5 applications. So everything we have to discuss, and we will do some sample tasks as well. The next thing is the input wala. So how to do that? Click on source code. So observe this source code. Yeah, template. You have a lightning card. That's fine. Name of the lightning card and some icon. That's great. And class in the sense it will make your phrases, your message at the center of the card. Then hello greeting. Okay. So now this is a thing. Like what I'm trying to say is this is a property of your JavaScript class. So go to your client side controller, scroll down a bit, observe it. So you can see @track greeting world. So we need to know about this @track. Very important. There are 3 decorators in Lightning Web Components. At most, there are 3 annotations in Lightning Web Components. That is @API, @track, and the another one is just a moment. API track and I forgot another one. So there are 3 decorators. The third decorator is for pulling the Ethernet wire. Yeah, sorry, Ethernet wire for linking a lightning component to an Apex class. We have to use Ethernet wire. Okay, so there are three decorators: add API, add track, and add wire. This add API will make your member variable as public. PUBLIC. This @track, I mean, what happens if I append this @track to a member variable? If there is a special feature in @API tag, apart from making it as a public, whenever you use that variable, whenever you use that member variable in the HTML page, whenever the value is changed, the whole component will refresh. Okay, if the very important line, if the member variable value is changed, whole component, whole lightning card, whole card refreshes by itself. This is a rule. This is the feature of @API. Apart from making it as a public, this is a byproduct. It will refresh. Now, you have, let's say you have a private variable. I mean, private instance variable. You have a private property. In order to add only this feature to the private property, whenever the value changes, whatever the byproduct that I'm getting from the other, in order to add that feature to the private property, you have to use @track. Okay, if the member variable, let's use appropriate keyword, if the private member variable changes, okay, then whole card refreshes. So what I'm trying to say is, here greeting is a private member variable. This variable you cannot use anywhere outside of the Apex class and it's concerned HTML. You cannot refer it, you cannot point it. Now, because you're using @track, whenever the value inside greeting changes, the whole component refreshes. Fine. Now let's come to this page. You have Apex input, in the sense one text box, empty form filling box will be there. Name of the label of the box is name, and the value is greeting. So it says that whatever the value you are entering in that box will be stored in the greeting. Now on change event, whenever you key in something, so the label is name. Whenever you key in something A, B, C, an event will be fired called on change whenever this is changed, and the whole value, okay, handle the whole value, the new value will be stored in greeting anyway, but there will be some method that will be executed. The name of the method is handle change, that is available in the controller, handle change. Okay, so this method, by default, the default value of greeting is hello world. The task done by this method is event.target.value, okay, will be stored in greeting. So on change, so what I'm trying to say is, on change of anything in the lightning input, a method will be fired. That method will assign the latest value to the greeting, I mean to this variable. And because there is a @track here, the page refreshes. The reason for the page refresh is @track. So whenever I'm writing something here, on change method is fired, and that is assigning to an internal variable called greeting. Still, because there is a @track annotation upon greeting, the component is refreshed. So you can see the component, you cannot sense it, but yes, the component is refreshed, hence the latest value is available here. Clear? This is the exact implementation. On the initial days, we will go a bit slow, but slowly we will pick up the pace. So PubSub, all other composition, bubbling, event handling, lot of interesting concepts are there. Slowly we will discuss. As of today, Yeah. So this is all about basic Apex class and its instance variables and how to use it, whether it is public, whether it is private, and @API functionality, @track feature. So let's deploy it now. Okay, yeah, it's already there. Refresh it. So once you refresh it now, you have this input tag as well. I mean the new lighting component. Fine. So try to, yeah, if you have any doubts you can ask me. Paste this code. Done. So no need of this another component. This will be a very good example for you. So in line number 12, I am placing another component called view source in line number 12. Okay, of course we don't have that component here, but yes. So now what I'm trying to say is there might be an LWC component with name called view source, and that LWC component you can call it in the form of HTML tag called view hyphen source. So what I'm trying to say is you ought to always call it in kebab case, KEBAB. Kebab case in the sense the notation where you, for every phrase, what I'm trying to say is name of the component should be in camel case. For example, input tag. And to refer the component, the other component, the child component in the parent component, to refer that component, you have to use the kebab case. So because it is input tag like this, if you want to refer this input tag in hello world, you have to write like input hyphen small t tag tag. You have to use it like that. And this source and slot are public instance variables inside the JavaScript class of view source. If you can understand this, we are half done. We are half done. Frankly, the other things are quite simple. I'll give you the pattern how to learn this LWC. So what I'm trying to say is programmatically we are injecting a value to, like, whatever the public properties we have, we can programmatically inject a value like this. Let's say ABC equals something. There might be a member variable called ABC inside the JavaScript class of view source. You are injecting a value, and you have to assume that that ABC member variable definitely have @API annotation in front of it. Then only you can inject a value as a property while referring the tag, while referring the lightning component. If you can understand this, half job is done. Fine. Okay. Of course, no need as of now. We will discuss in the upcoming days again. So yeah, this is our simple class. Then tag and one observation is all the three components will have same name: input tag.html, input tag.js, input tag.metadata configuration file. And after 3 to 5 minutes you will get this ESLint. Okay, ESLinter. Okay, this linter is used. You will ask me a question, Srikanth, on what basis you are getting these suggestions? @lighting. If I type like this, how I'm getting this suggestion? Because of this ESLint. Because of this ESLint, I'm getting these suggestions. So by default, after some time, this ESLint will be added up into your project by Visual Studio Code. So let's not drag it. Control S. Jaldi go to this thing. Paste it. Control S. Done. And in meta, as usual, don't forget to make it as a true. And okay, observe the meta tag here. It will be only You can see. So here I'm not injecting any property. Why? Whatever the member variable that I have, it is private. I cannot inject property from. I cannot put the value to the greeting variable. Why? Because @track. In order to make it as a reactive property, we use @track. Okay. So we don't want all these. We just want only in the app page. Done. Control S. Done. So now deployed. So what is that? Source force SOURCE source PUSH push. So wherever you have doubts, so please stop me. JavaScript is an ocean, as we all know. To be frank, even Salesforce has officially haven't launched how to handle, haven't given any example how to handle this integration. Salesforce has not given any example for this LWC how to launch this integration carrier. Okay, so yes, we are happy that we are ahead in the market, and yeah. So even if you have doubts, please don't hesitate. So most of the time, maybe I'll try to explain it. Even if not, I'll let you know in the next class. Fine. So far so good. Or any doubts? Is it deployed? Okay. So let's talk something about this now. At API @track, we call them as, I mean, any member variable of a class which is annotated with @API or @track, we call them as reactive properties, reactive member variables. Why? The common feature of reactive member variable is whenever the value changes inside the reactive member variable, the whole card refreshes. Okay, reactive properties or reactive member variables. Then regarding this @wire, very interesting. This one is quite interesting. @wire, if you write @wire to a variable called contact. So I have a member variable called contact in my JavaScript class. If I write @wire like this, then you are, what is the purpose of @wire? To tether or to not or to wire up a variable or a function or a method to an Apex class. Okay, half job is done if you people can get a clarity on these things. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, if there is a situation like your JavaScript code, right now we are learning the client-side controller part. We have not yet entered into a level to hit the Apex class, get some data and all those things. So any member variable that is annotated with @wire can hold the return type, can hold the return value of an Apex class that is sent by the server-side controller. So what I'm trying to say is, you might be having a JavaScript class, you might be having an Apex class like this, like public class, give some name, like first Apex, some random example. You might be having this kind of class, and there is a method called get contacts. This get contact will query some SOQL, will do some SOQL, and it will return, make sure that it is public list list of contact. You are doing some SOQL query and you are returning some contact list. So return context, return some con or something. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, if you use this @var, this member variable has got a status of, has got a promotion of holding, has got a capability of holding the return type of an Apex class. That's how you are wiring. So this con will be stored in the contact. From now from this contact, you can pull the data and use for loop in the HTML and throw it on the screen. Throw the data on the screen. Fine. So that's how it goes. Yeah. Source code was pushed. Only the changes will be pushed. Okay, not because in our project there is another Lightning component that is not pushed. Only the changes will be pushed. Fine. So now we are here. Almost done. I'll wind up. It's already 2 hours. I'll wind up in 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. Okay. So click here. I want to drag and drop my fresh component here. Click on this settings button. Then click on edit. Then so then scroll down a bit. In the components, you can see 2 guys. So drag and drop this input guy here. And as you know, the component is not expecting any input from you. Why? Of course, there is a internal variable, but it is not public. Hence, it is not expecting any input from you. Hit on save, done. Hit on save, done. Click on back. So in JavaScript class, similar to, in the JavaScript class, similar to our Java, we can use getters, setters, constructor, member variables, then methods, then everything. So whatever, everything in sense, yeah, the basics, whatever the core Java has. So all those things you can use. So at the time of initialization, I'm using this, at the time of declaring itself, I'm giving some value. Hence, that was there here. Fine. And as I said, it is a reactive property. It is just displayed. Now, I'll do one thing, like remove this track. Remove this track from here. Control S. Control S. Then done. So you have removed it. That's great. Now push it. Okay. Yeah. So this is all about day 1 lecture about Lightning web components. Then, so today's task as of day 1, I don't want to give any task for today. Why? Make sure that you have your systems ready. Okay, make sure that your laptops are ready to develop these components. So make sure that you install everything and like you are ready for the thing. Fine. So later on, slowly, we will be having some tasks for sure. For every topic, we must have a task. Fine. Yeah, it is deployed. There is a small change in input tag, and hence that change was deployed. Now, okay, go to this page, refresh it. Okay. Okay, it is not deployed properly. Still Salesforce is working on, it should not refresh. So what I'll do is, I'll deploy freshly. So what I'm trying to say is, because I have removed @track there, my expectation was, even if I type something, it has to be just world. Why? Because I have removed @track. Even though the variable greeting has this new value, the page should not re-render. But still it is re-rendering. Why? I'll tell you the reason. So there is still Salesforce is working on that problem. So delete our component first and try to redeploy it freshly. Edit page. If this happens sometimes randomly, so delete our component and try to redeploy it. So this hello binding, first delete them, hit on save. I mean delete from the page is different. Back. So we observed that the code is not reflected. Deployment issue. Okay, of course, I'm going to write article is in under progress. I'm going to place my plan was article is under progress, so it will be posted in my blog soon. So how to handle these deployment issues? Sometimes you change something in the code. If you deploy it, still it will not be reflected. So how to do that? First of all, remove its references. Of course, this is not a standard. I mean, this is just like a cheat sheet. Okay. So this is not a standard procedure. Even Salesforce has officially mentioned there are a few issues with the CLI. In the next 2 months, we are going to resolve everything. Fine. So by the time they resolve it, we will be completing our course. So we will be completely in sync with them. Fine. So let's go ahead. Go to developer console. So delete a Lightning Web Component completely and redeploy it. So how to delete? So query the Lightning Web Component from tooling API. Okay. So go to query editor, place it here. So the problem we have faced is our updated Lightning Web Component was not completely deployed. Or else I have another doubt, like the source code is picked from the cache memory instead of from the server. Okay, so even that could happen. So in order to avoid all these dilemma cases, so execute it, click on delete row. Click on delete row. You have deleted it. Now you don't have these two Lightning components. Try to redeploy it right now again. Before redeploying it, so you are in your project, go to SFDC, you will be having some orgs here. So remove this thing. Why? So all your tracking, like from the day one, once you linked your Scratch org, once you link your sandbox or anything to this SFDC project, whatever the deployments that you have done will be stored here. I don't want the system to remember the deployment history. I'm deleting it completely. Shift delete the org. Done. Now freshly deploy. Push. So maybe in 2-3 days I'll release that article, and apart from that, okay, so now both guys are deployed. Go to your page, click on edit page, then scroll down a bit. You can see the two new guys. Paste it, give something. Second guy, drag and drop it, hit on save. Back. Okay, now change it. Now it is not. You understood, right? So even if I type it, it's not shown. Clear? So so this is all about and these cheat things. I mean, these things are not, definitely they are not available in Visual Studio. That's the reason I like command prompt and depending more on this kind of things. Okay, they are more standard. Okay, of course, for beginners, Visual Studio Code will be useful. And Okay, so okay, let's see. Now, how would I get to know what is the guarantee that I have typed this one? So even though I'm not refreshing the page, what is the guarantee that my greeting variable stores this name, but not world? What is the guarantee? So let's print it. Let's try to print it. Console.log is used to print the variables in the Chrome browser. So I've changed it again. Then I mean, my intent was to show printing values in the Chrome browser. Printing, like if you want to know debugging, my intent was to show debugging, client-side debugging, particularly. Of course, server-side debugging, we have system.debug and all. Yeah. Go to console. Now repush it. Yeah, by the way, it's already around 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 20 minutes later. I'll share this. How do I share this commands? Okay, this commands notepad I'll share with the management team, so they will share with all of you. Fine. Okay, so SFDX plugin core. So this thing is used to check which version of CLI was installed, and yeah, no need of if you want to refresh it now, uninstall the existing version and install the latest one. So these commands are for that. And then create a scratch org with this username, and it has to be default org and for 30 days. Then generate a password, then manually change the password, then authenticate your project. Okay, before that you have to create a project now. So create a project. Isko, let's put it up. Control X. Let's put it here. Control V. Create a project and point to that folder. Then link your developer. Yeah. So if you have any doubts, you can stop. So I'm just reordering it, and I'll share to the management, so they will provide you. So link your production org, okay, or developer org. Then link your scratch org that you have created. Okay. Then no need of this guy. This is not required. This is something else. Just delete it. Irrelevant. Then inside the thing you can create your LWC component. Then open your scratch org, push your code. Then if you want to deploy it into production, these are the keywords to deploy into production. Okay. Yeah. So this is a bit of explanation on, yeah, it was deployed. Now let's go here. Click on edit page. We are done. Just give me 2 minutes. Input tag. Hit on save. Yeah. Now let's check. Go to inspect element. So let's check whether it happens or not. Okay, so console.log, okay, log is not being shown. Okay, it is not executing it. Okay. I don't know whether it is deployed correctly or not. Yeah. So yeah, this is the procedure. This is the first day lecture. Clear? Any doubts anywhere? Or if you have any questions, any concerns, anything regarding Salesforce, you can ask me now.
So Srikanth, Salesforce is going to deprecate Aura components?
For sure. For sure. Yeah, they are going to deprecate Aura components. There is no specific, because you can see official blog, official articles by Salesforce. Let's say LWC. I'll show you the that statement. LWC Salesforce blog.
Yeah, because
So
of
Salesforce
we
has,
people are not aware of Aura components also. So do we need to learn Aura components?
it's a headache here. Yeah, we have to compromise on that. Because even if we are as a developer, yes, we already have some knowledge on Aura components. That's great. I mean, of course, even I do. So, but I used to teach Aura components. That's a separate Aura developer guide booklet. But now currently I cannot, because that is already out of market. So currently I cannot teach Aura components. I have to learn and know LWC completely. So the motive of our training is, so it's hard. I mean, it's tough because if you sit on my shoe, then like, this is the new Lightning developer guide. Okay, Lightning Web Component developer guide. So our motive is, in whatever the time span of the training, let's say 22 hours or 20 hours, I'll give you the confidence in such a way, we are going to complete the whole book, so that any day you can go to any of the page and you can comfortably start developing your components as per your project. Fine. And yeah, the motive of the lecture is to complete this whole book. I'll give you chota mota. No, that doesn't happen. We'll touch each and every concept. Fine. And the old developer guide is of no use now. LIGST, Lightning developer guide. Ye wala thing is not Aura, like, so even they changed Lightning Aura developer guide.
Okay.
So then I think one step back. So you can see here. So you can see Salesforce is giving a full explanation what we have done mistake in the year 2014 and what we have done in the year 2019, and you can see there will be a keyword over the time something, yeah, over time. So you can see if you are already developing Lightning components with Aura, yes, we allow you to develop it, that's fine. But if you are building a new components from now, so try to do it. Okay, if you are completely new to development of Lightning, we recommend you to use Lightning Web Components. Okay, over the time you should migrate your Aura components to Lightning. Fine. So definitely they are going to be deprecated. Of course, it is their product. They cannot officially, frankly, tell that Aura is done, but they are smoothly saying us that, yeah, over the time they will be closed. So at the end of the day, both are their products, right? So that's the reason. Yeah. So just go through this article now once you people are free. So if you have any doubts, any concern, anything about Salesforce, you can ask me now.
Okay.
Okay then. So have a nice day. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience. So let's meet in the next class. So the task for today for the first lecture is just make your system ready. Okay. Try to install, set up, and practice this. Try to observe this fresh Hello World and all those components. And as a starter, I can help you to do something like there is a trial in the trial head. Okay, LWC trial head. So try to go through this trial head. Create a hello world component in LWC. Try to go through this trial head in this 1 week. In this 1 week, try to go through this trial head. Try to complete this part. Okay. If you have any doubts, you just drop. You can ask me in the next class. Yeah. So I think that's it for today. Let's wind up for the day. Have a nice day. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time and patience. And bye-bye.
Shrikant, Atri here. Can you just share your contact email or something in case these guys want to ask any queries or something, please?
Sure. I'll share it. The thing is, as per the company policies, I was told. Okay, I'll share with you. Can collect it from Anindya. Anindita.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thanks, Shrikant.
Thanks.
I don't know.